Oh wow! It's Sonic 3 Air, the popular fan remaster of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It does look really fascinating. I should give it a spin. Oh! It says I need an original copy of Sonic 3 and Knuckles from Steam to play it. Sure, let me get it real quick. Oh. Look, I could spend lots of time talking about Sonic 3 Air, but I'll keep it short for this video. I find it to be an impressive technical showcase that breathes new life into Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And at a time when it was uncertain whether we'd be getting a Sonic 3 and Knuckles remake from Whited & Co., this was an excellent option. Furthermore, depending on the Steam version of Sonic 3 and Knuckles made things much more convenient, for not only would SEGA legally give you the ROM you needed, but Sonic 3 Air would automatically fetch it for you, unlike with dumped or pirated ROMs. This was the most glorious cash cow that could have spawned for SEGA out of a multiple decades old game, and they did not have to lift a finger. And then came Sonic Origins, SEGA's own offering of remasters for PC and consoles, which would go on to finally make available a Sonic 3 and Knuckles remake, as well as the existing Sonic 1, 2, and CD remakes, albeit at a price I felt to be unnecessarily high. I mean, you can get Sonic 1 and 2 on mobile for free, and even remove ads for both of them for less than €5. And you could get Sonic CD on PC for a similar price. Sonic 3 and Knuckles was the novel entry of the package, but considering the Steam ROMs for each game wound up costing no more than €5 each, I expected a significantly lower price even with the novelty of Sonic 3 and Knuckles' release. But then, as if the overpriced package was not a sufficient blow, came the delistings. SEGA announced that they would be delisting offerings of Sonic 1, Sonic CD, Sonic 2, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles from many storefronts, including Steam. This was a strategic choice, which made sense from a business standpoint. I'm sure SEGA wouldn't have wanted consumers to confuse Sonic Origins with its legacy versions. This came with a major negative, however. The Steam versions of these games were the most convenient ways to legally obtain Sonic ROMs. All you'd need to do is buy the game, download it with the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis Classics, look into its folder, and you'd find, clearly labeled, the uncompressed ROMs. And there, you could find a Mega Drive ROM for you to use on whatever emulator you wanted, or to put in a flashcard. And it was 100% legal, because you were buying the ROMs straight from SEGA. Furthermore, the convenience was overwhelming. No need to deal with specialized extraction software or to buy expensive hardware. The ROMs were right there for the taking. As for Sonic CD, while its later PC release gave you the 2011 remake, it was the easiest way to extract the game's data for playthrough on the D compilation. At such cheap prices, I would have dared say it was better than piracy. Nowadays, however, getting the original ROMs legally has become way more difficult and expensive. Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 are still sold in some form, with the sale of the Sega Mega Drive Mini and their inclusion on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass. There still are some listings of collections including the two, and it's likely they'll keep receiving re-releases for the foreseeable future. The legal issues with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, however, make it much more cumbersome to re-release. We haven't seen any listing based on the original Sonic 3 and Knuckles since 2011, which is when it was originally released on Steam. This effectively makes the original Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the Sega Mega Drive abandonware. There is no official way to obtain it, meaning you'll have to rely on the second-hand market. There is a document detailing ways to obtain the ROM through either the original Sega Mega Drive cartridge or collections featuring Sonic 3 and Knuckles. However, these require exceedingly complicated and expensive setup for those who do not have any of the original hardware, easily surpassing the hundreds of dollars. The most convenient, legal-ish way I know of today would be CD key resellers. Usually, people go to key resellers to obtain games for a cheaper price, but they may have keys for games that are not listed for purchase. And Sonic 3 and Knuckles is one of them, meaning you can try and purchase the game even if Steam doesn't let you. The problem? Scalping. The CD keys for Sonic 3 and Knuckles are held by people who wish to earn profit out of the general user base's fear of missing out, and they had a field day when Sonic 3 and Knuckles was delisted. Nowadays, you might find yourself paying at least 7 times the original price if you wanted a legal copy of Sonic 3 and Knuckles' ROM. And that's assuming the key resellers sourced their keys from legitimate resellers like Humble Bundle. For a big problem with key resellers is where they get their keys from. You will not know if you're getting a legal key until you finalize your purchase. So, not only would someone seeking a legitimate ROM have to rely on scalpers, but there's no way to 100% guarantee that what you're getting is a legal copy. As nice as it would be to see Sonic 3 and Knuckles come out of its abandonware status, the legal controversy surrounding its music might make it hard for this wish of mine to actualize. SEGA has pretty much rid itself of what was a free money machine created by some of its most dedicated fans. Fans that actually stand against piracy, choosing to depend on original copies to comply with copyright law and encouraging you to purchase the original games. These fans don't have a wish to rival the original franchise in any way, and make SEGA more money ironically. Surely SEGA wouldn't be so foolish to let down this dedicated portion of the fandom a second time, right? Right? Sonic X Shadow Generations is a bundle that aims to deliver a unique modern experience starring Shadow, as well as a remastered version of Sonic Generations. Personally, at the time of me speaking, I'm quite excited. I was satisfied with my most recent replays of Sonic Generations, and I do look forward to seeing what SEGA has in store with Shadow Generations. Though there's one thing that has been worrying many in the Sonic fandom ever since its first announcement, enough to garner the attention of the social media manager for the Blue Hedgehog. What will happen to the original version of Sonic Generations? We have yet to receive an official response from the higher-ups at SEGA, but if Sonic Origins set a precedent, then there's a highly likely chance that the original Sonic Generations will be delisted from all platforms. One such course of action will carry even bigger consequences, because Sonic Generations has one of the more prolific modding scenes of the entire franchise, featuring extremely detailed works and lots of technical expertise that will be rendered inaccessible to anyone trying to approach the scene. For the very mod loader depends on the Steam version of Sonic Generations. Pirated copies will not work. It is very likely that Sonic Generations will be recompiled, meaning that those willing to mod this newer release will have to reinvent the wheel. One made much harder to spin thanks to SEGA's unsurprising inclusion of Denuvo within the title. For those unaware, Denuvo is an anti-tampering digital rights management solution designed to test the legitimacy and the integrity of a game. This, of course, makes some of the practices used to modify the original generations harder to carry over. This means that should SEGA delist Sonic Generations, over a decade of modding history would be locked out to anyone just now gaining interest, with no guarantee that it could be carried over to the newer release. This would be yet another spit on the fanbase's faces, not dissimilar from what Sonic 3's fans had to deal with, except targeted to a much wider audience. And yes, I can understand the business benefits of delisting legacy releases, but such a move is guaranteed to unleash a wave of negative PR coming SEGA's way. Unfortunately, only time will tell what's to happen.